Mr. Speaker, this week we recognize Infrastructure Week, where we highlight infrastructure development in our country and its importance to our districts. Now, we might think that infrastructure isn't very important, but we depend on it in all aspects of our daily lives. Developed roads and bridges help to take our children to school, to take our kids to our national parks. Our bridges and dams and water are the infrastructure that help to produce energy and provide us with clean drinking water. Broadband infrastructure ensures that everyone has access to learning and to information. But unfortunately, our infrastructure is deteriorating at an alarming rate. The American Society of Civil Engineers estimates that our crumbling infrastructure is costing each of us, each family, $3,400 a year of our disposable income. When we take into consideration the increasingly high cost of living, for example, in Orange County, California, where I live, then we see that our families are once again footing a bill, and yet we're not making the investment that we need. In fact, the United States spends significantly less in its GDP than most developing countries for our national infrastructure. Unfortunately, the lack of investment is apparent throughout our country. We saw it in Flint, Michigan, where infrastructure failed to provide clean water, and our communities suffer. In my home state of California, Porter Ranch, California, where a massive gas leak released 100,000 tons of methane gas into the air. Those failed pipelines reach back to the 1950s. And with respect to our roads, the Department of Transportation found that nearly 68% of California's roads are in poor or mediocre conditions. And almost 30% of California's bridges have been recognized as structurally deficient. And as California enters its fourth year of a drought, we are seeing just how crucial water infrastructure dollars can be during times of turmoil. So, Mr. Speaker, we have to look no further than my home district to see how positive effects of investing in infrastructure help our communities. Since I was elected to the Congress almost 20 years ago, the very first project that I championed was building a large factory, the largest in the world, to reclaim our water, to recycle our water, and it is the world's largest advanced reclamation project. To date, that project has recycled nearly 188 billion gallons of water, and it really continues to be the flagship of water recycling. I've also fought to bring high-speed rail to California and led a letter to President Obama urging investment in the project, which will bring increased commercial and leisure travel. And with respect to transit, I recently led a letter from the California delegation asking for $3.2 billion to fund the Capital Investment Grants Program, a program which funds projects both in northern, all the way from northern to southern California. The Capital Investment will help fund projects in my district, like the Orange County streetcar, which increases transit through my area. So people get out of their cars, we protect the environment, and we move people more efficiently. Mr. Speaker, this Congress needs to get its act together and invest in infrastructure. And I yield.